we are going to discuss some simple topics about your covalent bond and its parameters, bond parameters. So in this bond parameters, we are going to discuss here, that is one, bond length. So all these are corresponding to bond length, covalent bonds. Second one, bond energy, bond length, bond energy. Third one, bond order, bond order. We must know about these statements. So these are frequently used in your further chemistry. That is why these are important. Resonance, resonance. After that is bond concepts, that is the dipole moment, dipole moment. Later a different bonds, that is hydrogen bond, something else in it. These are the 5 topics which comes under bond parameters. Which comes under bond parameters. So we are going to discuss one by one detailedly here. So one is bond length, bond energy, bond order, resonance concept, and dipole moment concept. Okay. So see here. First one. Bond length. Bond length. Okay. What is this bond length? Bond length is nothing but it is the distance between, it is the average distance between the 2 bonded atoms. In a molecule. The average distance between 2 atoms in the molecule. That is called as bond length. So let us take an example. There is a AB molecule. Sorry, let us take an example, that is A2 molecule. It is homoatomic molecule because it is formed by the combination of A with A, A plus A. Both the atoms are same. Both the atoms are same. So let us take, this is one A atom. So covalent bonds, that is, it is another A atom. It is its nucleus. So it is A atom, it is A atom, both are same. Now bond distance is nothing but, this is the nucleus of the atom, this is the nucleus of the atom. The distance between 2 internuclear distance. The distance between the 2 internuclei of the bonded atoms is nothing but bond length, which is taken as, this value is taken as bond length. Bond length. Okay, how to calculate this bond length, sir? So because it is covalent bonds, so this half of the distance is called as radius. Already we completed. That is covalent radius of this one. This is covalent radius of second one. Therefore, it is radius of A. It is radius of A. Therefore, bond length is equal to radius of A plus radius of A. Radius of A plus radius of A, which is called as the bond length. So both the radius of, it is covalent radius, it is covalent radius. These 2 radii is the combination of bond length. Or, so let us take, this is the diameter, my dear boys. It is the diameter. Diameter means here one radius, here another radius, it is another radius. Therefore, radius plus radius plus radius plus radius. 4 radii, but we want only 2 radii. which is taken as diameter of A2 molecule by 2 is also called as the bond length. Diameter of A2 molecule by 2 is also called as bond length. This distance is called as diameter. If diameter is given to you, that half of the diameter is called as radius. So that is bond length. So radii are given to you. Radius of first element plus radius of second element is equal to bond length. Bond length. So these are the two formula used for calculation of bond length. It is nothing but a distance. Bond length is nothing but a distance between the atoms. Therefore, it has units. That is distance units, that is meters, centimeters, nanometers, picometers, like this. These are the units of this bond distance. So now what are it is A2 molecule, homoatomic molecule. For homoatomic molecule, bond length is equal to radius of first atom plus radius of second atom, or diameter of A2 molecule by 2. It is the general formula for homoatomic molecules. Now I am taking heteroatomic molecules. So what is that heteroatomic molecules? So how to calculate bond distance for that heteroatomic molecules? That means bond is formed between two atoms, different atoms. Two atoms, nothing but different atoms. Let us take a heteroatomic molecule, AB. AB is the heteroatomic molecule. Now, this is A, this is B, and different atoms. So here is the shared pair of electrons. It is the nucleus of A, it is the nucleus of B. So it is the internuclear distance. Actually, this is we consider as bond distance. Bond distance. But this value is not given to you. So we have half of the distance. It is the radius of A, it is the radius of B. Radius of A, radius of B. By using these two radii, we can calculate diameter. We can calculate diameter. So here A and B are there. So here electronegativity of A is taken as XA and electronegativity of B is taken as XB. So because B atom is small in size, no doubt electronegativity of B is greater than that of A. This electronegativity difference, these electronegativities also influences bond distance. So by including these electronegativities, so for this heteroatomic molecules, so diameter of AB is equal to radius of A plus radius of B minus plus C into XA minus XB. This is the formula used to calculate diameter of A. If you get diameter, radius is equal to diameter of AB by 2. This diameter of AB is calculated by using the formula like this. So diameter of AB, here AB is nothing but heteroatomic molecule. It is nothing but heteroatomic molecule. So it is a diatomic molecule, heteroatomic molecule. For that, radius of A plus radius of B plus C into radius of XA minus XB. So that we will get diameter of AB. By using the diameter of AB by 2 is equal to radius of AB. So that is diameter by, it is the distance end. It is the bond length end. This is nothing but bond length. So bond length is equal to diameter of AB by 2. So diameter of AB by 2, it is the bond length. So it is a way to calculate bond length. So see, here A is it is the radius of A. Radius of A. What is this RB? It is nothing but radius of B. So these are nothing but XA, electronegativity of A, XB, electronegativity of B. What is this C? This C is nothing but a constant. This value depends on nature of those two bonded atoms. This C value depends on nature of those two bonded atoms. So if these two bonded atoms, if the two bonded atoms are from second period so both these A and B are from second period of your periodic table. The value of this C is 0.08. The value of this C is 0.08. See, my dear boys, if the A and B second period elements are nothing but, so hydrogen, helium, after that lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. So neon generally not involved in bond formation. So if bond between carbon and nitrogen, carbon and oxygen, nitrogen and oxygen. So if these are the elements involved in bond formation, now C is considered as 0.08 value, and those from second period elements. Next, if one of the bonded atoms is silicon, phosphorus, or sulfur, if one of the bonded atoms is silicon, phosphorus, or sulfur, so these are bonded with high electronegative elements. If these are bonded with high electronegative elements, so that means silicon bonded with high electronegative element oxide, or phosphorus bonded with high electronegative element oxide. So now how much is the bond distance? So bonded with high electronegative elements, now C is equal to 0.06 in this case. C is equal to 0.06 in this case. By using those C values, so we can calculate diameter by 2 is equal to bond length. So it is about your heteroatomic molecules. For heteroatomic molecules, so this is the way to calculate diameter. So see, my dear boys, finally I give conclusion. So for homoatomic molecules, bond length is equal to radius of A plus radius of A. Homoatomic molecule, that is let it be A2 molecule, or which is equal to diameter of A2 by 2. Diameter of A2 by 2. For heteroatomic molecules, like AB, bond length is equal to D of AB by 2. Diameter of AB by 2. So diameter of AB is calculated by using the formula diameter, that is radius of A plus radius of B plus C into difference of electronegativity. Difference of electronegativity. So this C value, C is equal to 0.08 for bonds between the atoms of second period. The bond is present between the atoms of second period elements, so automatically that is equal to 0.08. So C is equal to 0.06. So between, for the bonds of silicon, phosphorus, sulfur with silicon, phosphorus, or sulfur with high electronegative elements. So this is C value. By using these values, so we can calculate diameter. By using this diameter, we can calculate bond length. So finally, what is bond length? It is the average distance, it is the mean distance, it is the equilibrium distance between the two nuclei of bonded atoms. Between the two nuclei of bonded atoms, those may be homoatomic or heteroatomic. Homoatomic bond length is calculated like this. Heteroatomic bond length is calculated like this. So these are the two formulae used to calculate bond length. Now, what are the factors that influencing on bond length? Okay. Now, what are the factors? Factors which influencing on bond length. First one, the first and most important one, bond length is directly proportional to size of the bonded atoms. Size of the bonded atoms. Bond length is directly proportional to size of the bonded atom. For example, there is HF molecule, HCl molecule, HBr molecule, HI molecule. So we know all these are hydrogen atoms. All these are hydrogen atoms. But fluorine, small size. Chlorine, something big size. Bromine, something big size. Iodine, something big size. Other elements are in big in size. Therefore, bond length. Therefore, bond length order is more is the size, more is the distance, and automatically HF less than HCl less than HBr less than HIN. See here, here is the hydrogen, it is the hydrogen atom, and it is the hydrogen atom, and it is the hydrogen atom. So it is the hydrogen atom. Now our internuclear distance, this is the internuclear distance. 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 No doubt that internuclear distance increases. So that means bond length increases. Bond length increases. So first of all, bond length is directly proportional to size of the bonded atoms. Size of the bonded atoms. It is very, very important. Next one. Bond length. Bond length is inversely proportional to percentage S character in hybridization. Percentage S character in hybrid orbitals. As S percentage increases, bond length decreases. See boys, so we have sp hybrid orbitals, sp2 hybrid orbitals, sp3 hybrid orbitals. In sp hybrid orbitals, 50% is the S character, sp2 that is 33.3 is the S character, so sp3 25% is the S character. Okay, so as S character increases, as S character is more, S orbital has a spherical nature in it. Our hybrid orbital also has something more spherical nature in it. See here, hybrid orbitals are indicated with one small lobe and one big lobe. This is hybrid orbital. This is also hybrid orbital. Next. This is also hybrid orbital. These three are the hybrid orbital because one big lobe and one small lobe. One big lobe, one small lobe, no doubt. These are the hybrid orbitals. But here, spherical nature is more. See here. Here, spherical lobe, when compared to this one, spherical nature is less. When compared to this, spherical nature is less. That means dumbbell nature is more, spherical nature is more here. Okay. So, from top to bottom, size of orbitals decreases. Sorry. Size of orbitals increases. So size, that means distance and length and the length of these orbitals, size of these orbitals increases. As the size increases, their bond length also increases. as size increases. So top to bottom, see boys, top to bottom, S percentage decreases, size increases. It is sp hybrid orbital, it is sp2 hybrid orbital, it is sp3 hybrid orbital. sp orbital is small in size, sp2 is something more, sp3 is something more. So those orbitals, see here. So I am taking C double bond C H bonds, double bond C H bonds, single bond C H bond. Triple bonded carbon is in sp hybridization, double bond carbon is in sp2 hybridization, single bonded carbon is in sp3 hybridization. So that means the hybrid orbital coming from this carbon is sp, that is why it has like this. It is the sp hybrid orbital. This is hydrogen orbital, hydrogen. Here sp2 something more in size. This is sp2 hybrid orbital. It is the hydrogen side. This is sp3. sp3 is something more size. So this is sp3 orbital. So see here. It is the distance. Less is the distance, more is the distance, and more is the distance. So top to bottom, bond length increases. Top to bottom, bond length increases. Therefore, CH bond length in that is, it is C2H2. C2H2. Their carbon is in sp3 hybridization. sp hybridization. This is C triple bond C H. It is nothing but C2H2. Next, C double bond C H and H. H and H and E. It is C2H4. It is C2H2 and E. Next, C single bond C with 3 hydrogens. So it is single bond C and E. It is C2H6. C2H6. It is acetylene. It is ethyne or ethylene. It is ethane. Ethane. Here carbon bonded with a triple bonded, that is, it is sp carbon, it is sp2 carbon, it is sp3 carbon. So sp carbon small in size, that's why H bond and this is CH bond length, and we consider this. Okay. So this is CH bond length, this is CH bond length, this is CH bond length. Here we consider. So this is sp orbital, small in distance. Here sp3 orbital, more in distance. That means as S percentage increases, bond length increases. As S percentage increases, bond length decreases. Here sp hybrid orbital 50% S character. It is sp2 orbital 33.3% S character. It is sp3 orbital 25% S character. As S percentage decreases, bond length increases. That is what I told to you. So this is the way. So that is why hybrid orbitals also create variation in bond length. And hybrid orbitals also creates variation in bond length. So as S percentage increases, bond length decreases. It is very, very important. Therefore, bond length in triple bond C H bond length, double bond C H bond length, single bond C H bond length. So these bond lengths is less than triple bond CH bond length has less than distance than double bond, that is less distance than single bonded. So this is very, very important. Number of times asked bit sign. Next one, bond length also influenced by number of bond between the atoms. Bond length is also influenced by number of bonds between the atoms. Third point, bond length is inversely proportional to number of bonds between the atoms. Number of bonds between the atoms. So see here, between carbon and carbon, there is a single bond, there is a double bond, there is a triple bond. And as the number of bonds between the atoms increases, attraction between those two atoms increases. As attraction increases, bond length decreases. So see here, from top to bottom, number of bonds between C and C increases. So next one. So as the number of bonds increases, attraction between C and C increases. Attraction between C and C increases. As attraction increases, distance between C and C decreases, because attraction increases, molecules, atoms are close to each other, and that's why distance decreases. Distance decreases. Next one, as distance decreases, bond length decreases. As distance decreases, bond length decreases. Okay, so therefore, as the number of bonds between the atoms increases, finally bond length decreases. So bond length is inversely proportional to number of bonds between the atoms. Bond length is inversely proportional to number of bonds between the atoms. It is very, very important. See, my dear boys, so atomic size is inversely proportional to, is directly proportional to bond length. Percentage of character is inversely proportional to bond length. Next, number of bonds between atoms is inversely proportional to bond length. These are the three major
Okay, boys. So, did you understand? Did you understand? Yes, yes. Okay. Next one. See, boys, I am taking H2O molecule. I am considering OH bond. Next, H2O2. Here also I am considering OH bond. Next, alcohol, that is CH3, CH2, OHN. This is alcohol, and here also I am considering OHN. That means in all these three cases, the bond is always between oxygen and hydrogen. Here oxygen and hydrogen, here oxygen and hydrogen, here also oxygen and hydrogen. So if atoms are same, whatever it may be the molecule, their bond lengths are same. So whatever it may be the molecules, if atoms are same between in a particular bond, atoms are same, automatically their bond length. Therefore, so OH bond length in H2O and OH bond length in H2O2. So it is H2O. It is H2O2 and it is C2H5OH and alcohol. In all these three cases, OH bonds are same in length. So that means, irrespective of the compounds, if atoms are same between for a particular bond, automatically their bond lengths are same. Automatically their bond lengths are same. So see, my dear boys, one more example. So please, after final conclusion, I am giving conclusion. So please give me the answer. Now there is C single bond C, C double bond C, C triple bond C. From left to right, bond length increases or decreases. So it is 1, it is 2. Tell me the answer. 1 or 2 from left to right. Good, Charan. Yes, yes. Vishnu wrong. Vishnu wrong. Others correct. See boys. So between carbon and carbon, same carbon, double bond, triple bond, any. That is the number of bonds between the atoms increases. As the number of bonds increases, bond length decreases. Therefore, our answer is this one. Our answer is this one. So in particular, the value is C single bond C length is 1.54 angstroms. Please try to manage. 1.54 angstroms. C double bond C length is 1.34 angstroms. 1.34 angstroms. So C triple bond C length is 1.20 angstroms. See this 1.54, 1.34, 1.20. That means the bond length values from left to right decreases as the number of bonds increases. So it is the clear evidence set. It is the clear evidence. So this is a way to calculate bond length. This bond length is also influenced by resonance and hyperconjugation. So those we will explain later and not here. So this is about your bond. Next one. Next one. Bond energy, or which is also called as bond enthalpy. Bond energy or bond enthalpy. What is this bond energy? So that is the energy required to break the bonds, or that is the amount of energy released when a bond is formed. So see here, there is A atom and there is a B atom. So this A and B are attracting with each other and form a bond between A and B. So during this bond formation, during the formation of this AB molecule, some energy is released. Some energy is released because of this attraction. Where there is attraction, energy released. Between A and B, there is an attraction. That's why a bond is formed. A covalent bond is formed. So during the formation of that covalent bond, something energy is released. This released energy is called as bond energy or bond enthalpy. That released energy is called as bond energy or bond enthalpy. Okay. See, my dear boys. So here, for calculating that is standard conditions, 1 mole bonds are formed. To form 1 mole bonds between 2 atoms. So for standard conditions. So that is the amount of energy released is called as a bond energy. What is bond energy or bond enthalpy? That is the amount of energy released during the formation of 1 mole bonds between the atoms. Between the atoms, how many moles? Bonds? 1 mole bonds. So that means the amount of energy released is called as bond energy. So what is bond energy? The amount of energy released when 1 mole covalent bonds are formed between 2 atoms. Between 2 atoms is called as bond energy or bond enthalpy. Is called as a bond energy or bond enthalpy. So this is the amount of energy released when 1 mole covalent bonds are formed between 2 atoms is called as bond energy or bond enthalpy. So it is very, very important. So my advice, during the formation of bond, energy is released. During the formation of bond, energy is released. Now I am taking see here, there is already a bond between A and B. So how many bonds are there? 1 mole bonds are there. 1 mole bonds are present between A and B. I want to break this bonds. How many bonds I am going to break? 1 mole bonds are going to break. Is this energy needed or energy released? Energy required or energy released? Tell me, boys. For this purpose, amount of energy required or released to break that 1 mole bonds? Yes, energy required. Yes. So it is something energy is required. Okay, to break this 1 mole bonds. So that energy required to break 1 mole covalent bonds between two atoms is also called as bond energy or bond enthalpy. So that means it is the required energy. So it is called as bond dissociation. The process is called as bond dissociation. That is why that energy is called as bond dissociation energy. It is endothermic. It is energy required process. Here energy release. This is bond formation is exothermic. Bond formation is exothermic. Bond breaking is endothermic. But the magnitude value is the same. But the magnitude value is same. See here. For example, I am going to form a bond between A and B. So there is A and B and A. That gives 1 more A bonds are formed. During this process, I think 120 kilojoules of energy released. 120 kilojoules of energy released. So I am giving this one into equation form. This one into equation form. See here. A gaseous atom, my dear boys, all those atoms must be in gaseous state. Connected with A, one more gaseous atom. That gives A and A gaseous molecule is formed. A gaseous molecule. During this process, something energy is released. So energy released. This energy is called as bond energy. This energy is called as bond energy. How many moles are formed? 1 mole AA bonds are formed. 1 mole AA bonds are formed. So during the formation of 1 mole AA bonds, something energy is released. That released energy is called as bond energy. Okay. So this is released energy. That is forward direction bond formation. Forward direction bond formation. Now I am taking reverse cases. So reverse direction. I have 1 mole AA molecule. To this much energy is supplied and converts into respective gaseous atoms. Respective gaseous atoms. So now reverse direction. So backward direction, that is bond dissociation. That back direction is bond dissociation. How much energy is required to break this 1 mole bonds? The released energy is sufficient. That means released energy is I'm adding that amount of energy release. Automatically that bond is going to break down into respective atoms. So that means bond dissociation energy and bond formation energy magnitude value is the same. Magnitude value is same, but one is released, another one is absorbed. That is, one is exothermic case, another one is endothermic case. So exothermic, endothermic. Magnitude value is the same. Magnitude value is the same. It is very, very important. Okay. So this is bond formation. Delta H is a negative end. It is a bond dissociation. Here delta H is a positive end. But magnitude is the same. But magnitude is the same. That released or absorbed bond energy should be same. So one is a bond formation energy, another is a bond release energy. That is bond dissociation energy. So bond formation energy is equal to bond dissociation energy, but opposite in sign. But magnitude value is same. Signs are different. Signs are different. So this is a single bond is present between. Now similar type of more than one bonds are there. That is the polyatomic molecules. So I am taking it is a diatomic molecule modified. In case of polyatomic molecules, how to calculate bond energy or bond enthalpy? So now I completed bond energy for a diatomic molecule. Now, bond energy for a polyatomic molecule. Bond energy for a polyatomic molecules. Okay. So bond energy for a polyatomic molecule. How to calculate bond energy for a polyatomic molecule? See here. See here. Let us take CH4 gaseous molecule and 1 mole is there. 1 mole methane molecule is there. Now I want to convert this into carbon atom plus 4 hydrogen atom. So carbon atom plus 4 hydrogen atom. So it is a bond dissociation, boys. Bond dissociation. So now delta H is positive. That is how much? How much is the bond dissociation energy? So that is what I want to calculate. What I want to calculate. See here, CH4 molecule. There is. This is CH4 molecule. This is CH4 molecule. There is 4 CH bonds. 4 CH bonds. Now I want to break this bond. So that gives CH3 plus HN. For this purpose, I am using something energy, that is delta H1. So X moles of energy is used. Let it be X moles of energy. Now we have CH3 and there is no CH4. Then CH4 is converted to CH. In second case, CH3 is there. So now I am going to break this bond. This bond that gives CH2 plus 1 more hydrogen. So that gives something energy is required. Let it be YN. Both is because atom's environment is changed, automatically bond energy changed. So therefore, in this case, X kilojoules of energy is used. So in this case, Y kilojoules of energy is read. Now we have CH2. We have CH2. Now I'm writing here. CH1. So I want to break this bond ending. That gives CH gaseous atom plus hydrogen. So for this, delta H3 is used. Let it be Z kilojoules of energy, and all these are required energies, boys. All these are required energies. All these are positive values. Now we have CH bond. CH bond. For that purpose, so there is. I am writing here. There is CH bond which is in gaseous state. So something energy is used that converted into C plus HNE. Here delta H is equal to plus W. Plus W. So now carbon is free with hydrogen atoms. Carbon is free with hydrogen atoms. So now this is the first step. This is the second step. This is the third step. This is the fourth step. Add all these steps. That gives. Just a minute. I'm writing at one place. CH4 converts into CH3 plus H. So delta H for this one is plus X. Now CH3 converts into CH2 plus H. For this purpose plus Y. CH2 then change it to CH plus H. Delta H is equal to plus H. Now CH gives C plus H. Delta H is equal to plus W. These are the total 4 steps there. So already I explained to you. Now I want add these all these. So this is CH in reactant side, this CH is in product side. This is CH2 in reactant side, this CH2 in product side. This CH3 in reactant side, this CH3 in product side. Therefore, in reactant side, only CH4 is there. In product side, there is a C plus H plus H plus H plus H. That is 4HN. So for this purpose, delta H, it is delta H1, delta H2, delta H3. It is delta H4 and delta H is equal to delta H1 plus delta H2 plus delta H3 plus delta H4 and therefore delta H is equal to X plus Y plus Z plus double. This is the delta H value. It is the delta H. So how many bonds are going to broken? Here 4 moles of bonds are. See here. How many bonds are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 moles of bonds are there. That means it is for 4 CH bond breaking energy. 4 moles CH bonds breaking energy is X plus Y plus Z plus W. But we explained for 1 mole energy. Therefore, for 1 mole CH bonds is equal to how much? Therefore, that is X plus Y plus Z plus W by 4. This is called as bond energy. Yes. Next one. Now, what are the factors that influencing on bond energy? For example, see here, there is a C single bond C, C double bond C, C triple bond C, top to bottom, number of bonds between C and C. Between C and C increases. As the number of bonds increases, so it is single bond easy to break. It is double bond difficult to break. It is triple bond too much difficult to break. That's why bond energy increases. As the number of bonds between the atoms increases, bond energy also increases. Therefore, bond energy is directly proportional to number of bonds between the atoms. So, number of bonds between the atoms, as the number of bonds increases, bond energy also increases. Bond energy also increases. So, this is the way to express bond energy and it very, very, very important. Okay. So bond energy. So for homoatomic molecules, bond energy for homoatomic molecules is less than that of bond energy for heteroatomic molecules. Bond energy for homoatomic, that means AA bond energy and AB bond energy. It is BE1, it is BE2 and BE1 less than BE2. Homoatomic bond energy, homoatomic molecules. That energy required for homoatomic molecules is less than that of heteroatomic molecules. So, which is called as bond breaking. Bond breaking is also called as bond dissociation, which is also called as bond cleavage. Bond cleavage. Okay, so these are all same terms: and bond breaking energy, bond dissociation energy, bond breaking, that is cleavage energy. So, okay, these are generally used words. This is about bond energy. This is about bond energy. Next, bond angle. Third one, bond angle. What is this bond angle? So what is this bond angle? So it is the angle between two bonds at the central atom in the molecule. At the central atom in the molecule. See here. So H2 only. There is two bonds are there. So between them, this is called as a bond angle. So bond angle is always measured at the central atom between two connecting atoms, connecting bonds. Okay. So therefore, bond angle at oxygen. This is bond angle. See, NH3 line. Because these are we know one. This we know. So the angle between two bonds at the central atom, which is called as bond angle. Which is called as bond angle. Next, CH4. It is a tetrahedral in shape. This is CH4n. Now, what is the bond angle? So this is bond angle. At anywhere, the angle is same. Bond angle is same in a particular molecule. Okay. See here. Here oxygen has two lone pairs ending. The bond angle is 104 degrees. This is we know. Here nitrogen has one lone pair. The bond angle is 107 degrees. 107 degrees. So carbon has no lone pair. The bond angle is 109 degrees 28 minutes. So here lone pairs is equal to 0 on carbon. Here lone pair on nitrogen is equal to 1. Here lone pairs on oxygen is equal to 2. Here lone pairs on carbon, because these are the central atoms wise. Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon are the central atoms. See here, as lone pairs increases, this is 2, this is 1, this is 0. As lone pairs increases, bond angle, see here, it is 109, it is 107, it is 104. That means from left to right, number of lone pairs on central atom 210 decreases, but bond angle at the central atom, bond angle at the central atom, see here left to right, increases. Therefore, lone pairs at the central atom influences the bond angle. As the number of lone pairs decreases, automatically bond angle increases. Therefore, bond angle is inversely proportional to number of lone pairs. Bond angle is inversely proportional to number of lone pairs. This is very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay. So just a minute, boys. Okay, see, boys. So these are some factors about your bond angle. So hybridization is one of the factors. I will explain later. So electronegativity influences bond angle. See here. So nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. This is our 15 group elements. Top to bottom size increases. Automatically electronegativity decreases. So that means here nitrogen is the central atom, phosphorus is the central atom, arsenic is the central atom, antimony is the central atom. For these central atoms from left to right, electronegativity decreases. As electronegativity decreases, bond angle also decreases. So bond angle decreases. So see here, so greater value. So as electronegativity of the central atom decreases, bond angle decreases. As electronegativity of surrounding atoms here, nitrogen, 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 central atom same, but here surrounding atoms, iodine, bromine, it is chlorine, it is fluorine. For these elements, left to right, electronegativity increases. For fluorine, chlorine, like this. As electronegativity of central elements increases, bond angle decreases. So NH3 has greater bond angle because more in size. So that means, so electronegativity of surrounding atoms increases, bond angle decreases. As electronegativity of surrounding atoms increases, bond angle decreases because of repulsion. Because of repulsion. Okay. Next, already I explained lone pair on central atom. As the number of lone pairs increases on central atom, bond angle decreases. Bond angle decreases. Already I explained that. That is H2 or oxygen has 2 lone pairs. NH3 nitrogen has one lone pair. CH4 carbon has no lone pair. Carbon has no lone pair. Here bond angle in H2O is 104 degrees. Here in NH3 bond angle is 107 degrees 11 minutes. In CH4 carbon that is 109 degrees 28 minutes. So here 2 lone pairs, here 1 lone pair, here no lone pair. No lone pair, bond angle is more. More lone pairs, bond angle is less. So that means from left to right, lone pairs decreases, bond angle increases. Therefore, lone pairs influences the bond angle. Next one, hybridization. Already I explained hybridization. So for sp cases, it is 180 is the bond angle. For sp2 hybridization, 120 is the bond angle. For sp3 case, 109 degrees 28 minutes is the bond angle. See, by boys, here S percentage 50. S percentage 50. Here S percentage 33.3. Here S percentage 25. So from left to right, S percentage decreases, bond angle decreases. Bond angle decreases from left to right. That means as S percentage decreases, bond angle also decreases. These are some factors that influencing on bond angle. Bond angle. So these are very, very important. Okay. So these are some bond parameters and bond length, bond energy, bond angle, bond length, bond energy, bond angle. These are the some bond parameters. After that, so the important one is resonance. What is this resonance? Resonance set. Very, very interesting and important topic, my dear boys. What is this resonance? Resonance means existence of a single molecule in more than one structure. For example, see here, I am taking benzene C6H6N. Benzene, it is 6 carbons, cyclic ring. There are 6 hydrogens, each carbon connected with hydrogen. Okay. So let I want to numbering this. I want to take numbering for these carbons. First carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and eighth. These are the numbering of carbons. Okay. Now I am taking a pi bond between 1 and 2, between 3 and 4, between 5 and 6. It is the structure of benzene. It is the structure of benzene. Now the same structure also I am going to draw like this. 6 carbons like this. Next, each one connected with hydrogen. Each one connected with hydrogen. See boys, I am writing these pi bonds with this red pen. These are the pi bonds, red pen. Now, these are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 carbons. Now, the bond present between 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 6. See, is there any difference between these two structures? Tell me, boys. Is there any difference between these two structures? These two seems to be same structures. But clearly we observe. So here is the bond between first carbon and second carbon, but there is no pi bond. So see here, first point. Is there any change in position of atoms, that is hydrogen or carbon? Tell me, is there any change in position of carbon atoms or hydrogen atoms in these two structures? Is the placement is changed or not? Yes, yes. Is there any change? Yes, it is benzene. Yes, it is benzene and its formula is C6H6. Its formula is C6H6. Is there any placement change? Carbon position or hydrogen position is changed or not? Yes or no? No. So all these carbons and all these hydrogens are same here and here. Same end. Positions are not changed. Next, is there any change in the sigma bonds? All black colored bonds are sigma bonds. All black colored bonds are sigma bonds. So are those sigma bonds placement is changed or not? No one. No. So that means, so there is no change in the position of atoms. No change in the position of sigma bonds. No change in the position of sigma bonds. But the position of pi bonds are changed. But the position of pi bonds are changed. See here pi bond, that is red bonds, red colored bonds are pi bonds. This position of pi bond here between 1 and 2, but here between no pi bond, but pi bond is here. So that means here between 1 and 2, here 3 and 4, 5 and 6 pi bonds are there. But here 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 6 and 1 is there. That means placement of pi bonds are changed. Because of change of the placement of pi bonds, there is a two structures. Otherwise, single structure I am going to express it. But here is placement of pi bonds are changed. So that is why two structures are represented. That means, so now finally tell me boys, is C6H6 structure is this one or that one? Let it be first one, let it be second one. Is the first structure or second structure for benzene? Which one is the first structure? Which one is the benzene structure? Yes, Teja, you are correct. First one or second one? Or both? So, okay, first one, second one or both? For benzene structure, both of them and any one of these two structures are represented by benzene. Okay, so but that means this existence of a single molecule in more than one structures, existence of single molecule in more than one structures is called as resonance. that resonance is indicated with a double-headed arrow. That resonance is indicated with a double-headed arrow. It is very, very important. It is very, very important. So this is the resonance. So what is resonance? A molecule exists in more than one structure without changing atom's position, without changing their sigma bonds, but changing of their pi bonds and lone pairs. So in some cases, lone pairs are also changed. Lone pairs also changed. So by the changing of lone pairs or pi bonds, but not sigma bond pairs, boys. So sigma bonds are not placed, not changed. Atoms are not placement is not changed. But yes, but so pi bonds and lone pairs are changed. Pi bonds and lone pairs. Because of change of that pi bonds and lone pairs, a single molecule may exist in more than one structure. More than one structure. That existence of a single molecule in more than one structure because of change of that pi bonds or lone pairs or both of them is called as resonance. Is called as resonance. So these are the resonance structures of benzene. So these two structures are collectively taken as benzene structure. For that purpose, so now the final structure of benzene is combination of these two is the benzene structure. Not only the first structure, not only second structure. Combination of 1 plus 2 is the benzene structure. So combination of 1 and 2. So that means this 1 plus this 2. This combination, that means, so this is resonance structure. This is also resonance structure. These two resonance structures are going to be mixed. That is called as resonance hybrid. This is called as resonance hybrid. So combination of all resonance structures is called as resonance hybrid. I am writing the resonance structures hybrid for benzene. See here, carbon, 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 carbon. So pi bonds, that is sigma bonds are not changed by. Sigma bonds are not changed. Now tell me, now where pi bond is present? See, these are the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes pi bond between 1 and 2, sometimes pi bond between 2 and 3. That is why. So this is pi bond. Sometimes here is there, sometimes here is there, sometimes here is there. So sometimes here is there. This is where dotted lines. What are those dotted lines? The dotted lines represents 3 pi bonds. Where is this placement of this pi bonds? So not at a particular place. That means that is oriented entire molecule end. So not exactly same location. That is this are called as delocalized bonds. Pi bonds are generally called as delocalized bonds, but sigma bonds or placements are not changed. That is localized bonds. Sigma bonds are localized bonds. Pi bonds are delocalized bonds. Those may be the placement of those pi bonds may be changed. So that means here is a ring within the circlet. So this ring is nothing but 3 pi bonds. That is why we are taking 20 like this. That is, these are sigma bonds. I don't mention carbon. These are hydrogens. I'm not mentioning carbon any. These are hydrogens. So here in benzene there is a ring. Generally we use ring. What is the meaning of this ring? This ring is nothing but this dotted line, my neighbors. This dotted line is nothing but 3 pi bonds. 3 pi bonds. Where these pi bonds are there? Where these pi bonds are there? That pi bond is not located at one place. That is why that all those 3 pi bonds are indicated with the dotted lines. So number of times it is difficult to draw dotted lines. That is a thick solid line. Solid ring is applied. So this solid ring is nothing but 3 pi bonds. So it is the resonance hybrid. This one or this one is considered as resonance hybrid. So this is the combination of these two structures. It is the structure of benzene. It is the structure of benzene. Okay. So this is the way to express benzene resonance structures. So tomorrow we will discuss number of examples. Monday onwards. So on Monday we will